Welcome back to another day of broken cars here on Mustang Lifestyle, and unfortunately, if you look there, looks like it's leaking again. So my guess is that the pinion seal, I guess, is leaking, maybe. I really don't want to do it on my back. I hate working on cars on my back. It gets me frustrated and really annoyed, so I'm gonna see if Nick can help me out and maybe we can get this thing so that I can finally drive it again, because I'm getting so annoyed with that. Obviously, a little update on this car. We're still waiting on, some axles, trying to figure some things out with that. So this one's pretty much dead. This one, well, besides the leak, we have a window that won't go down. So I started taking the door panel off, but then I just got kind of annoyed. So I'm gonna take the door panel off and see if I bump the motor, if it will move up and down. Now, I did look up online. So if we key on, if I hit the up button or down button, you can hear the click, which is the one click down relay. So I'm going to try to hit the motor and take this door panel off and see if that fixes the issue. And I hope so, because I really hate dealing with windows on these cars. But let's go ahead and pull this door panel off and see. Alright, so ignore the throw up bearing noise, which is awful. We did manage to get it to work. As you can see here, I can actually go all the way down still and back up. Somehow it was basically stuck at the bottom, and I've seen online that people will say, like, once you get it unstuck, don't put it all the way down to the bottom. But here I am, I want to make sure that it's not going to get stuck. There was like a bunch of paper in the bottom, so I wonder if that was stuck. I kind of just ripped this plastic thing off because it was all torn anyways. But now, put it down, put it all the way up. Basically, there was no fuse blown. Basically, I think when this thing gets stuck, the motor will not like overpower it, so it'll just stop. I yanked on this bar right here and hit the up button, and I was a little scared because obviously fingers are right there, but it did manage to go up. So that is really good, because now I can actually drive this car and go somewhere, because in Florida it's going to rain every single day, especially if you have a broken window. So I'm glad we got that fixed. Well, at least I can fix something on a car. That rear end is just annoying the crap out of me, but we do luckily have a window. That's good. Oh man, this thing's got 183,000 miles. I think it blew up at 179 with the 2 valve, so that's about 4,000 miles, 4,000 or 5,000 miles, somewhere around there, with the swap. Oh man, yep, that's nice. So I'm glad that is going good. Alright, so luckily we did get the window working on Turdzilla. I'm gonna wait to meet up with Nick and just throw the car up on the lift and try to see where this diff fluid leak is coming from. There's really only two places, the cover or the pinion seal, probably the pinion seal. I obviously get really frustrated when working on my back. It's very hard to film things, and sometimes I cut corners. So just gonna wait until we can throw it up on the lift and really see it. But I wanted to bring up a completely different point on this video. I know I talked about it before, and so we were talking about turbo kits or 5.4 swap and 5-liter Coyote. So I saw a bunch of comments that were saying, like, there are things like a lightning swap, and I don't have any interest in doing a lightning swap. Those engines are really not very strong. They're very heavy, extremely inefficient. I respect the Lightning, and I would love to own a legitimate Lightning, but I don't want to do a Lightning swap because I don't want to do a Lightning build. So that kind of throws that out there. There was an idea, and I've been talking, kind of trying to consider if this is a good idea, is doing a 5.4 liter dual overhead cam NA swap. Typically you can get them up to around 360 wheel horsepower with, you know, long tube headers and basic stuff. Kind of similar to like a Cobra R build, but those are also very heavy, and I mean at the end of the day it's still only a bottom end that can handle around 400 or 450 wheel horsepower. We were talking about also a turbo kit option, and I really want a turbo kit for a car, but that engine I don't think is going to hold up to, you know, turbo, because it still does make that noise, and it's probably a lifter tap, but the thing does have a lot of miles. As you guys know, it made decent power for what it is, but it's still 280 wheel horsepower. It's not like it's making 300 plus, so it's not the healthiest, but it's not bad for sure. So that leads me to the Coyote swap, which is something that I've wanted to do for a long time. So I've been trying to think of ideas of how I can basically make this happen on the channel, and you know, obviously I have this channel where, you know, you guys can help me, and this is what brings in revenue and everything else. So I've been trying to brainstorm some ideas, so you guys let me know what you think. But a Coyote swap, and the Coyote swap I would want to do, which might be, I know there's a lot of people saying like everyone's doing Coyote swaps. Well, I don't see that, and my goal with the car kind of has changed a bit. The car is really well set up for drag racing, and what I would really love to do is a Coyote with a 6R80 and do an NA Coyote, kind of like a drag build, but still street, still have AC and everything else. So what I would like to do is to Coyote swap the car with a Gen 2 Mustang, or if I could get my hands on a Gen 3 with a 10R80. I don't think that's very possible because they are very expensive, but I would love to get my hands on a Gen 2, so that's a 15 up Mustang 5-liter Coyote engine paired with a 6R80 transmission. The reason why I want to go automatic is because we already have manual cars. We have the Cobra, which is pretty much going to stay in manual as far as I know right now. So that one's got a manual. This car does not have a strong trans, so it's not going to hold up to 400 plus wheel horsepower banging gears. So the 3650, great trans for what it is right now, but started pushing more power, and I really want an auto car to have a consistent, really awesome drag car that I can have fun with and not break stuff every single time, because stick shift cars are very abusive on everything. So this is really like a dream of mine to have a Coyote swapped car. It would be a really cool setup, because with a Gen 2 15 Mustang engine we can push around 450 to 480 wheel horsepower with E85. This build though is going to be very expensive, so I want to get your guys' thoughts, you know, on what you think. You know, I could come out with some Turdzilla specific stickers, keychains, like we already have. I can come out with some merchandise stuff. I don't really want to do like a GoFundMe, because that I would want to give you guys something for if you guys want to support this. But you guys let me know what you think, because I have heard that a lot of people would support something like this. And it'd be a really cool build for the channel to be able to go through everything you need for a Coyote swap to make it run, drive, AC, and go kick ass at the drag strip. So basically what the car would need is, basic rundown would be a Gen 2 15 plus engine, a 6R80 transmission. It would need a trans cooler kind of kit with that. It would need a Ford Racing or a Power by the Hour control pack. It would need the Power by the Hour accessory pack, which gets you the alternator to work, gets the AC and power steering to work, and then the other major thing that's going to be, or there's actually two other major things that are needed, which is a return style fuel system, and which, as you know, we just did one in the Cobra. It has to be a return style fuel system, and then we also need long tube headers, and normally the BBK swap headers are the way to go, but if you're doing a 6R80 transmission, those actually won't fit. From the research I've done. Then you're looking at the American racing headers, which are pretty expensive. So overall, this whole build is probably around $10,000. I know that it can be done for a budget, but that's kind of where this car has been. And I really want to put something quality in this car because it does have really quality suspension parts. It has a full UPR tubular K-member, has Viking coilovers up front, Viking shocks, it's double adjustable front and rear, has Viking springs, Viking adjustable spring perches, UPR, tubular UPR upper and lower control arms, UPR subframe connectors. So the car suspension wise is basically set up to be a 100% badass drag car. It has done autocross, but I just, after running the Cobra in autocross, the IRS is really a substantial difference in terms of that. So really I would love to make this more drag focused and really try to get this thing, you know, pretty low. I think it would be an easy 10-second car NA, and then I would love to see 9's NA maybe with a converter, and it could always get boost thrown on top of it because Gen 2 Coyote loves boost. So those are my thoughts. I don't know how long this will take to do. I do know an estimate number of how much this costs, and I mean realistically it's gonna be somewhere around $10,000 because you know, you got the engine and trans, which I've seen a best of that going for around $5,000. You got a fuel system, which this car doesn't need a crazy fuel system like the Cobra, but it still needs a pretty good setup. So that's going to be around $1,000 to $1,500. You got the Ford Racing control pack or the Power by the Hour harness, something like that, which ranges from like $1,500 to $2,000. You got the headers, which are super expensive, and then you also got like a bunch of miscellaneous parts. So it's going to be an easy $10,000, which I know there's some people who are like, well, you can do a Coyote engine for about $1,500, use the stock trans, Ford Racing control pack, or stock PCM wiring and wire it all together. But like I said, I want to do something really legitimate in this car and kind of take it to the next level. That is my thoughts on it. So I want you guys to just give me your feedback on the car and let me know what you think. Let me know if you guys have some ideas on how to support this thing, because that is a good chunk of money to go ahead and build a car. And you know, I just want to hear your thoughts. I know that I talked about, you know, kind of shot down all the other things, and like I said, I would love to turbo the car, but to do a built motor, 4-valve, I mean, we're talking about $4 grand for a short block to be built. We would want to do C heads and then a turbo kit. We're basically talking around the same money to do the same thing with much older technology, essentially. And I already have a Cobra that's doing all of that. I have a boosted 4.6 liter 4-valve with a built-ish motor. I mean, obviously it's a stock 0304 Cobra motor, but I mean, it is a, you know, it's a built motor. I mean, it's making 700 wheel horsepower. It's a stick car. What I'm trying to do here is kind of divert these two things to be completely different but be awesome. So the Cobra can be a badass fast stick street car that I love. This thing can be a little bit more drag dedicated, but it can also be completely badass with AC, because we need AC here in Florida, it's no doubt about that. But I just want to take this car to, from where it is at a Mark 8 swap with a ticking engine and kind of a lot of problems that come up, to something that is just badass and can drag race, take it anywhere, take it to events, and just go have fun with it. So like I said, those are my plans. Let me know what you think. Nothing's set in stone, but if you guys would be willing to support some sort of like swag pack for Turdzilla, some stickers, obviously we got the keychains, we got these keychains. If you do want to pick them up, link in the description down below. But let me know your thoughts, and that's all I'm trying to do here, is just get your thoughts on what you guys think, you know, of the builds and the build ideas and, you know, my dream for the car. So we will catch you guys in the next one.